episode of Infantry Gear Review. In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at the Volpe Spike Bayonet. Now, unfortunately, a lot of modern rifles today do not come equipped with the capability of mounting and fixing bayonets. What do I mean by that? Well, here's your traditional M4 carbine. Here's a Marine Corps OKC3S bayonet. And as you can see, I'm just coming over the barrel and I'm attaching it to the bayonet lug. And there you go. I've got a bayonet fixed to my rifle. It's ready to rock and roll. Easy on, easy off. With free-floating handguards, however, sometimes that creates a challenge. You don't have these bayonet lugs attached to the barrel anymore, unless it's a rifle like the M27IR that does have a bayonet lug, but most of the modern rifles that come out today do not have that capability. So you got to look for alternate means of mounting bayonets, right? I've done a video specifically over mounting some of the other options of mounting bayonets to free-floating handguards like Picatinny rails or M-LOK and things of that nature. Here's one right here. This is the Sig Sauer mount. It attaches to M-LOK style handguards, and here's that same OKC3S bayonet. And as you can see, I'm able to attach that to the rifle, and it's on there. It sits a little bit lower than typical of a bayonet, like on an M4 carbine, but still the intent's still there. You still have full use of that that bayonet mounted and fixed to this rifle. Another option I discussed in that video was the Geisley Super Stabby, and there's other options too. There's the FNFAL bayonet. If you have a standard USGI birdcage flash hider or compensator, you can mount an FAL style bayonet to that, as you guys can see. All right. All right, guys, let's take an up-close look at this Volpe bayonet. Now, I've got several bayonets laid out, so let's just talk about spike bayonets and why they're good, okay? So ultimately, whatever kind of bayonet you choose to use, that's on you, all right? But spike bayonets are nothing new. They've been around for generations, a very long time. It's a classic design. When you're talking about a purpose-built bayoneting weapon, generally, something that's longer and narrower is a better purpose-built bayonet, all right? And that's why bayonets of the past were like that. They were long and narrow, and they don't look like, our modern bayonets like this. It's the current issue Marine Corps OKC3S bayonet, and as you can see, it's essentially a fighting knife. It looks like a K-bar with the capability of mounting it on a rifle. And honestly, that's what the Marine Corps did. They essentially took that K-bar style design, and they went to Ontario Knife Company and they came up with the OKC3S, and they designed a bayonet that is purpose built to defeat body armor, all right? But it is a utilitarian tool, guys. It is a fighting knife and a bayonet, all right? So it has that capability. But does it bayonet as well as something like a longer, narrower, like some of the designs of the past? Generally, again, these are considered better bayonets for purpose-built bayoneting. But you're not going to use this as a field knife, right? This is not going to cut it as a good field knife. So, it's a give and take relationship. What do you want? All right, here's a FNFAL bayonet, and you can see it looks very similar to, the older style M16 bayonets. The Army did the same thing with the M9. You guys can see it looks like a fighting knife, right? But it also has the capability of being wire cutters. So utilitarian style design. It's both a bayonet and a fighting knife. All right, but bayonets of the past were purpose built as bayonets. So the spike concept is nothing new. This is an infield bayonet, and as you guys can see, it looks just like the Volpe bayonet. So this is a good design for bayoneting enemy combatants. No question, guys. Absolutely no question. So let's take a look at the Volpe bayonet here. It comes in different lengths. You'd have to go to his website and check, but I know he makes different style lengths for his bayonets. My favorite is the 12-inch one here, and I'll show you here why in a second. But these all attach in the same manner. They have a quick detach style Picatinny mount, and it just secures onto that Picatinny style rail with a quick detach lever. Okay, so it's easy on, easy off. It needs about 5 sections of Picatinny rail to mount to. All right, it also has a Picatinny rail on the top or backside, I guess, however you're looking at it. But me personally, I don't know exactly what I'd mount to this because I don't always leave the bayonet. The bayonet is not permanently going to be attached to my rifle, but you do have that capability if you want to use that for something. I don't know. All right, that's on you. All right, to attach this, again, you want to have about at least five sections of Picatinny rail, but I'm simply gonna put this on my rifle, guys. And then once it's on my Picatinny rail, I'm gonna come down with the lever and I'm gonna secure it. And you guys can see no rattle, it's tight, right? And if I want to tighten it up, I just tighten it up on this side, close the latch, and there we go. Now this right here, how the distance I have past my barrel right here is about the same amount of distance I have on the OKC3S attached to a standard M4 carbine or M16 style rifle. So that's why I like this length right here, right? So I'm a fan of this 12-inch spike bayonet from Volpe for me, for attaching to this rifle. Now if I was going to take it off, just quick detach, boom, it's off, guys. So easy on, easy off. This is a solid steel construction on these bayonets, guys. They seem sturdy. If I had to point to any part of this that would be a point of weakness, I'd say it's probably the latch area, but nonetheless it still seems well constructed. And I'm more concerned about a rail failing before I'm actually concerned about the actual bayonet failing itself. So that would be the only thing that, in terms of a possible negative for a design like this, would be, can your rail, the rail that you're mounting this to, hold up to that abuse? My manual defense here is a pretty strong and sturdy style rail, but if you got something like a carbon fiber style rail, it's M-LOK, or you have one of these Magpul polymer 5 sections that you've attached to a rail, is that going to hold up to thrusting into an enemy combatant with something like the spike bayonet? I don't know, not sure, guys. It may break off, it's a good possibility, but also on the flip side of that is, like, how many times are you gonna have to fucking thrust this into an enemy combatant if you're going to thrust it? So, there's that, all right? Do you need that capability for you to be able to thrust this into something 100 freaking times repeatedly? Or it could be, hey, one-time use, you thrust it into an enemy combatant and there you go, you're done, all right? So who cares if it breaks out, if you're killing the enemy at that point. And then I highly doubt that even if your rail were to snap off from thrusting an enemy combatant, that your weapon is going to be completely inoperable at that point. So I highly doubt that. So with the the very rare occasions that bayonet uses happen on the modern day battlefield, the fact that it may break off on a rail that's not sturdy enough, me personally, I'll take that chance. If it means being able to have the capability of mounting a bayonet, I'll take that freaking chance all day long. Okay, because what are these bayonets good for? Hey, fucking you name it, guys. It is a utilitarian use, right? Whether it's bayoneting an enemy combatant, whether that's fixing your rifle for out of control civilian populace, riot control, or corralling enemy prisoners of war, whatever the case may be, the bayonet is time tested. It is a mental mindfuck for an enemy combatant, or any human being for that matter. Just having a bayonet mounted to a rifle is does something psychologically to the opposing party. Now, securing the bayonet, I don't have a sheath for this, so what am I going to do? Where am I going to put this thing, for God's sakes? Well, guys, we live in the age of freaking Molly and Powell's webbing, right? Fucking guys got Molly webbing on everything nowadays. Just stick that shit through the Molly Powell's webbing, and the top of the bayonet will actually hold it in place, right? Gravity held in place on your gear. So that's what I suggest to do with it, unless you're gonna get some sort of custom-made sheath for that bayonet. There's different options too with the Volpe bayonet. I prefer the traditional, like already designed and cut, and it's always going to be there freaking spiked. But he does have one where he uses broadheads. Okay, so you can get different types of broadhead attachments. That's a wicked looking one. But any broadhead attachment will work with this particular model. So I'm going to screw this one on, and there it is, it's on. So I mean, I wouldn't want to get stabbed with any of these, but that definitely is a nasty looking little motherfucker there. So easy on, easy off. So just more options, guys. You know, if this is your cup of tea, if you want to stab a dude with a freaking broadhead bayonet, by all means, he makes it, okay? So I think this is a great piece of gear, guys. I'm all about any type of capability of adding a bayonet to a modern style fighting rifle. Okay, again, I believe in the utilitarian use of the bayonet. I've gone over in great length over my Infantryman's Guide video the reasons why I think a bayonet is still viable on the modern day battlefield. I think it's a great tool to have, and whether you go with something like a Volpe Spike Bayonet, or you get a mount like this to mount on, you know, Picatinny rails and M-LOK style rails, so that you can mount your traditional or current issue bayonets. Hey, whatever the case may be, guys, I'm all about it. But I definitely think a bayonet is a necessary piece of gear for an infantryman on the modern day battlefield, still to this day. Okay, so if you got any questions about the Volpe bayonet, be sure to post them in the comment section. I'll do my best to answer them. I also want to send a special thanks to YouTuber Freedom by Me. He's the one that turned me on to these, and he also sent me my very first one so that I could take a look at it. And then he also put me in contact with the Volpe guy who sent me the other ones for you know, evaluation. So big thanks to those guys for introducing me to these Volpe style bayonets so that I can mount them to one of my favorite rifles in my inventory here. So. Well, that's it, gentlemen. That completes this episode of Infantry Gear Review over the Volpe Spike Bayonet. If you're liking what you're seeing, don't forget to check out my channel and subscribe. I've already done several gear reviews in the past, and I plan to do several more in the future. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment.